Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on another Resolute Life video. If this is the first video you are watching, we want to extend a special warm welcome. This is your first step towards a resolute life. A life based on different values and principles. A life of fulfillment, achievement, connectedness and resilience. If you have viewed other videos on this channel, or have listened to the podcasts on Spotify or Apple, or perhaps have read some of the blogs on our posts on socials, I sincerely hope that they have provided the guidance and sustenance you need for your resolute journey. Should you feel that this video, or any of the other content around a resolute life, really helped you live the life you always wanted, please share it with others. You are not meant to travel your journey alone. Share with others and invite them to be resolute with you. Before we start, just a reminder that this video is based on the principles and teachings of the book, The Daily Life of Resolute Beings Live with Intent. The book is available on all leading online bookstores like Amazon and Barnes & Noble, or you can get a copy from our website. Get your copy today. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to be the first to know when a new video drops. Today we are going to talk about our internal reality. Our entire experience as human beings is dependent on the way we make sense of the world around us. This process of making sense starts even before we are born, as early as the third trimester of pregnancy. As humans, we have an inborn need to understand our environment, to construct a comprehensible framework of reality. To satisfy our craving for safety, we create our own certainty and predictability, our personal internal reality. In most instances, our internal reality reflects the objective outside reality. But often our internal reality reflects nothing more than idiosyncratic patterns of thought and emotions. Patterns that has nothing to do with the external reality. Privately, we keep telling ourselves what the world is like, how we believe people behave, and how we fit into everything. In turn, we then behave in ways that support our internal reality and increase the probability that our beliefs will become reality. Psychologists call this type of behavior self-fulfilling prophecies. The famous anthropologist Carlos Castaneda made the following observation. We talk to ourselves incessantly about our world. In fact, we maintain our world with our internal talk. And whenever we finish talking to ourselves about our world, the world is always as it should be. We renew it, we rekindle it with life, we uphold it with our internal talk. Not only that, but we choose our paths as we talk to ourselves. Thus we repeat the same choices over and over until the day we die. Because we keep on repeating the same internal talk over and over until the day we die. When it comes to reality, you must accept that any reality that you have created is as unique as you are. Any reality you create is your personal reality, and it differs from everyone else's. Yes, by living with intent, which is the first principle of the resolute life, you will move closer to universal intent, and your internal reality will more and more reflect the universal reality of intent. Nevertheless, our personal reality will always be an imperfect reflection of intent. Just a quick note for those still unfamiliar with the concept of intent. As described by the book, The Daily Life of Resolute Beings. Live with intent. Intent is that magical element of life that connects everything and everyone. It is that pervasive feeling, the intuitive voice whispering to us daily, telling us that we are all part of a larger purpose. It is that part of our existence that cannot be explained by our powers of perception, and cannot be explained by what we hear and see. It can only be understood through instinctive awareness. It is something we cannot touch, but we can feel its touch everywhere. This invisible energy has been called many things by various cultures, religions, spiritual traditions, and mythologies. Names like God, Allah, or even karma. Whatever name we attribute to this force, history has shown that intent is not found through isolated, individualistic pursuits of meaning. Instead, it is discovered by plugging into the collective, the all-encompassing intention of existence. This intention transcends individual meaning, but simultaneously incorporates all individual meanings. Intent is the magical tapestry of life that is weaved together by billions of imperfect internal realities. But let's get back to our discussion around individual reality. We all live with a certain perception of reality, which represents our own internal reality. And these realities show various degrees of difference with what is actually going on, which is represented by intent, or universal reality. Sometimes the differences between our personal internal realities are so small that we can clearly see the roots of universal intent, or perfect reality. Other times, our personal realities differ to such an extent that we start believing that life is void of any universal reality. In essence, all our internal realities reflect universal reality in a greater or lesser degree, because our personal intent is removed from intent in a greater or lesser degree. We are all on different points on your journey, and our internal realities reflect our progress of discovery, the universal reality of intent. Let's look at this graphical representation of the human reality spectrum. Every internal reality contains a part of universal reality, albeit to different degrees. The more your personal individual reality is built from pure subjective perception, the more you move to the left side of the spectrum, where all your life paradigms are grounded on imagined experience. The more your personal individual reality is built from holistic perception and awareness, carefully curated by opening yourself up to other realities, and to the energy of intent, the more you move to the right side of the spectrum, where all your life paradigms are grounded on universal reality. Let's use some examples. The internal reality of an individual suffering with paranoid schizophrenia contains only a small fraction of the universal reality, yet through absolutely no fault of their own. On the other side, the internal reality person who is living with intent, and who has practiced the habit of cleaning their awareness, which is a key practice of a resolute life, will contain a large chunk of universal reality. Regardless of where you fall on the reality spectrum, your personal internal reality will always contain elements of imaginative, subjective truth, as well as clear, universal truth. The famous poem, The Cookie Thief, by Valerie Cox, illustrates the point perfectly. When you have a moment, find the full poem online. In this poem, poet describes an interaction between a woman and a man at an airport, but from the woman's perspective. From her perspective, after she bought a bag of cookies and sat down to enjoy them while waiting for her flight, a man sat down close to her, and then started to eat her cookies. The poem goes on to describe how the woman's disbelief and disgust grew while they both ate from the same bag of cookies. Her bag of cookies. How can this man be so entitled to eat her cookies without asking? However, the story ends with a twist when the woman, upon leaving for her flight, realizes that her bag of cookies was still in her bag, and that the cookies on the table was in fact the man's. Suddenly she realizes that she was the insufferable, entitled person eating his cookies without even asking. This quirky poem illustrates how the woman was so certain about her reality, a reality where the man was stealing her cookies, that she never even thought that her internal reality could be imaginative and not reflect universal reality. Her moment of clarity exposed her imaginative perception and allowed her to gain awareness of universal reality, moving to the right of the reality spectrum. This brings us to the end of our video today. Now that you understand the human reality spectrum, during the upcoming week, I challenge you to analyze your internal reality. How much of your reality is based on selfish motives or imaginative perception, and do not reflect universal reality? Identify the parts of your reality that are further away from universal reality, and change these parts by recalibrating your belief system. Do this by keeping an open mind and heart, exposing yourself to other realities by deliberately interacting with others who are different than you. People who come from different backgrounds, different cultures and religions. When you are online, intentionally read news articles written from viewpoints different than yours. Use this exposure to identify commonalities that you have with others. These commonalities provide clues for you around where your internal reality reflects universal reality, intent. Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember to subscribe and to share this video with others. Check out other content on our website, socials like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, podcasts on Spotify and Apple. We also have a WhatsApp channel where we share daily inspirational quotes. And, if you have not done so yet, get your copy of The Daily Life of Resolute Beings Live with Intent today. Next week, our video will give an overview of what the life philosophy behind the Resolute Life is all about. Until next week, live resolutely.